The Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association presents Freshman Focus. A look at 2-year-olds in training across the Buckeye State. Freshman Focus is presented by El Dorado Scioto Downs, now racing Tuesday through Saturday, post time 5:45. By Sugar Valley Farm, looking for your next quality standard-bred racehorse? Look no further than Sugar Valley Farm in Delaware, Ohio. And by the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center, caring down to a science. And now here's your host, Roger Houston.
For this edition of Freshman Focus, we're back in Delaware, Ohio, the home of the Little Brown Jug, and it's a beautiful sunny day for Freshman Focus. After these words, we'll sit down and talk with trainer Ron Steck.
Racing is back at El Dorado Scioto Downs. Catch the excitement all summer long. Live racing every Tuesday through Saturday nights. First race post time is 5:45. Mark your calendar to see the future stars with a $150,000 Next Generation July 6th. Thrilling harness racing at El Dorado Scioto Downs. One track, 90 racing days, 100% action. Horse players can earn points with the new Caesars Reward Program. El Dorado Scioto Downs. Racing returns May 9th.
Welcome back to Freshman Focus, and we're sitting down to talk with trainer Ron Steck to start things out today. Ron, you've got 8 2-year-olds, all Ohio breds, but a very strong mixture of various stallions.
Yeah, we do. We mixed it up a little bit this year, just to try to get a little bit of everything. See how it goes from there.
Fillies or colts?
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
We just try to pick out the best pedigree for the price that we can afford.
Yeah. The stable, bunch of homebreds, or did you purchase most of them?
They are a couple homebreds. There's a Seaside filly here out of a mare I raced, Give No Lip. It's a homebred. And then we have my daughter Parker has a Do Me That Again colt that's out of a mare that she owned and raced, and I think that's the only two.
You mentioned Parker working with you in the barn and everything like that. Your son Ranger, about to graduate from high school, 18 years old, and he's got a plan already for a summer job, so to speak.
Yeah. He wanted to be here today, but he had some testing, and he wants to become a driver. So we'll see how that goes. It's going to be a long road for him, being as young as he is, but there's a lot of guys out there, Chris Page and Danny Noble and all them, and he pretty good buddies with them all. So we'll see how it works.
Yeah. What races will we be driving in, stakes or the Signature Series?
We're going to start out with the Signature Series with a horse that I own, the Next Triumph. Pretty nice old horse, and he will teach him a lot, I believe.
Yeah. With 2-year-olds, and you have 7 of them, Ohio breds, did you break them all, or did you send some out to be broke?
We sent a few this year. We did a few this year, but I didn't have as many.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing why we usually send them out is, help situations and things like that can be a little touch and go when you got young horses. But we did do a few this year, and it worked out fine.
Yeah. Now, the ones that you broke, any of them give you fits?
Well,
or do they all give you fits?
Well, the ones we did here was pretty good, but I did have one that was that I did send off that was pretty tough. One of the lather up, the colt, and he ended up being a Ridgeling, and so we got that taken care of, and then he come around pretty quick after that.
Do you still have that fractional ownership?
We still have some of that. Basically, a lot of it this year was 3-year-olds. We had a lot of 3-year-olds that we raced last year, and there was a few people that bought in with a little bit of the 2-year-olds, but not as many this year as normal.
Once their 3-year-old season's over, do you sell them or do you keep them as racehorses?
We keep some of them. Just depend if they can go to the next level. Most of the time we sell and regroup and get some new ones.
What's the process in getting the stable put together? You go to the sales or you work with your owners?
We always work together.
Yeah.
You know, we look at them and study the books, and then we get together and then we decide which ones and how much and what we're going to do and all that.
The breeding program and the racing program here in the Buckeye State is unmatched.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, it's the greatest in the world. You know, it's the greatest ever. You know, for us and all over. I mean, but it's changed the game a little bit. I mean, you know, you have to have something that can go, or you're not going to be competitive.
Thank you, Ron, and appreciate sitting down and talking to us for a few minutes. But right now, we're going to take a look at his Ohio breds in their stalls and get some comments about each and every one of them after these important messages. This is the filly Dancing Ballet by Dancing Yankee out of Rock and Roll's Finale.
We bought this filly in Lexington. I believe we give around $20,000 for her, and we loved her, and so far so good. Very good gaited, big filly.
What did you see that you liked her and took her out of the sale?
Well, you know, this is not a homebred. We bought her in the Lexington Select. I don't know. We just we of course buying all Ohio breds, and again we bought different sires, different things, and so she's just one that caught our eye, and we got her bought.
Now, how much you been with her?
They around 220.
220.
Yep. Her and the Seaside filly mostly trained together.
Yeah.
And
when you train in 220, slower first half and then pick it up at a little coming home?
yes, always try to go faster getting home than we do getting started.
I was noticing out there today, it looked like you was going actually almost 1.5 miles instead of a mile the right way of the track.
Yeah, I'd like to get them turned and let them get settled in and get, you know, down to business before you get started. So we haven't started doubling them up yet, but we'll start that real soon too.
When you're going these 220 miles, what's usually the last quarter?
Oh, 32 right now. You know, and we'll just keep picking up from here.
And they're all pretty comfortable doing it?
So far, so good, yes.
Okay. This is the filly Dancing Ballet by Dancing Yankee. This is the filly Mad Walberry by Down by the Seaside out of the mare Give No Lip.
Yeah, this is a homebred filly that we raised. The mother was an extremely fast filly and wasn't very big. This filly is huge. And we really like her a lot.
Any similarities to her mother?
You know, her mother was half goofy, and this filly's got a great attitude, great discipline. She just does everything right. And
I guess parents can have two kids and they have different personalities, so.
Yep, the mares had like 3 foals. They was all little, and all of a sudden the Seaside's a giant. So I have no clue. We're hoping for the best.
Well gated and everything?
Real good gated. Been a mile around 220. Big halves, big quarters, but we're just getting ready to start going a little faster here.
This is the filly Mad Walberry by Down by the Seaside. This is a filly Mare of Delaware by Well Said out of Wednesday's Whim.
This filly here is a homebred. Freddie Reed right here in Delaware owns her. And nice filly, Well Said. She's got a great attitude for a Well Said, but she just maybe just a little bit behind the other 2 fillies, but she's like been in 22, so nothing that bad, but it's just it just took her a little bit to get started.
How'd you come up with the name Mare of Delaware?
Well, he's always wanted to name one that, so they wouldn't let him name it M-A-Y-O-R. So it had to be Mare of. So they took it, so we're going to roll with it.
You had a horse last year that was named something with Delaware or something.
Beast of Delaware.
Yeah. How did he do?
He's done pretty well here for me.
So,
Yeah.
Mayor of Delaware, hey, Delaware's #1.
Yep, we'll see how it goes.
This is the filly Mayor of Delaware by Well Said. This is the gelding Bumblebee Bop by Lather Up out of Bebop Tina. Notice the gelding. Do you geld all your colts?
Well, this guy here, we had a little bit of a problem. He was a ridgeling, and we didn't know it when we bought him. He was at Lexington Purchase also, and he just he was tough to break. So we had to cut him, and he ended up being a ridgeling. So that really made it better.
Yeah.
He's still got a lot of fire.
But the vast majority of your horses, you do geld them though, don't you?
Yeah, we do. I mean, you know, we race a lot, you know, maybe some fairs, not a lot anymore, but, you know, it's just hard to, if they're stud horses, you know, to get around and do that.
Seems like, well, I know they race geldings probably a lot longer than you do a lot of stud in the business, but you may have one that you'll carry over into the 4-year-olds.
Exactly, yep. If they're good enough, you know, we've kept a few of those around, and but like I say, he's come a long ways, but he's still got a ways to come.
This is the gelding Bumblebee Bop by Lather Up. This is a gelding Well Colored by Well Said out of Color My World.
This is a Well Said, like you said, Well Said colt that me and my wife bought, kind of a family horse. We bought him at the Springfield sale, and great gaited. I like him a lot, but he's an awful lazy colt, and but someday maybe the light will turn on and be all right.
Is this the one that you was training out there this morning? You just constantly tapping at him.
Yeah, he's just lazy,
Yeah.
and you know he's actually gotten a lot better about it, but he just he's got plenty of talent. It's just we'll just have to wait and see if he decides he wants to be a racehorse or if he don't.
Well, I noticed that when you was jogging him the wrong way of the track, you was tapping at him, and even in the mile when you turned him, you continued to tap at him. And
Yeah, he's kind of too talented to tell you the truth. He goofs off all the time. You know, he doesn't do anything wrong, you know, pacing wise or anything like that. But he's definitely got to get a little better to make a good horse.
You think he'll change though once you get to the races?
You know, I've had them. You know, in the years past, that some of them like this end up being your best colt.
Yeah.
You know, but it's all up to him.
Is this a gelding that takes care of himself?
Yes, he does. He does sleep a lot, and he just, you know, but he's just ornery. Yeah,
this is a gelding Well Colored by Well Said.
Lit.
This is a gelding Journey's Sharp Edge by Do Me That Again out of Riding Out a Storm.
That's my daughter's mare. So she owns this colt all by herself. So she had a colt last year, a brother to him, that was knee sore. We didn't get to start him only a couple times. I really like this colt a lot. He's not very big, but he's mighty, and we'll see how it all turns out for him. But,
did you say you bought him in a sale?
No, he's a homebred.
Homebred.
Yep, my daughter owns the mare and everything.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but he can go pretty good for no bigger than he is.
Yeah, he seems it's about the smallest one you got in the barn.
Yep, he is, but wears a long hobble and loves to do his work.
A small horse with a long hobble?
Yeah, he wears I don't know exactly, I haven't measured him, but he probably wears a 57-inch hobble.
Yeah.
For a small horse, that's pretty good.
Yeah. This is the gelding Journey's Sharp Edge out by Do Me That Again. This is a gelding Already Won by Fear the Dragon out of Onaryatak Rocket.
Yeah, we bought this colt at select sale. I had three brothers to this horse, and they was all colts. And she had a couple fillies that was just okay, but the colts that I had was really nice horses. I think the one's got a mark of 50, and so this was the next colt out of that mare. So we bought him, and Lee Davenport owns part of him with me, and he's another one that's one of my better colts.
Is he like his mama?
Yes, he seems to be. He has plenty of go, and you know, sometimes the Fear of the Dragons are a little tough, but this guy's done everything right all along, and goes right down the racetrack, and I like him a lot.
Will you qualify all yours right here at Delaware?
You know, I have in the past. Now last year I went to Scioto with some, just because I actually was talking to Virgil and about that situation, and it seemed like when I qualified here twice, and then when I'd go to the track the very first time would either be a sire stake or a Buckeye or whatever, even a non-winners of one or whatever. They just seemed to be lost. And so, you know, first time shipping, first time track, and so last year I went to Scioto and qualified, and it worked out okay, you know, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe one qualifier here and then go to Scioto for the second one, or, you know, we'll see.
Maybe when they get to Scioto, they know, hey, the fun and games are over.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's okay. I like this guy a lot.
Do you turn your 2-year-olds out occasionally?
You know, this year I did not. In the years past I did. We had such a good winter, and so we could kind of do that here. We have paddocks that we turn out in here. But this year I did not do that.
Looks like he's about ready to fall asleep.
Yeah, he had a hard day of work today.
How much did you go today with him?
We went in 22.
22.
Yeah.
This is the gelding already won by Fear the Dragon. Well, that wraps up our session with Ron Steck. We'd like to thank Ron and his second trainers and all the caretakers for doing a good job with us today. And we're going to move on down to talk with trainer Jessica McCown after this important message.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661.
Welcome back to Freshman Focus. We've made our way to the other end of the fairgrounds here, and we're going to talk with Jessica and Cam McCown about their Ohio bred 2-year-olds. But before we get started, I want to talk to Cam McCown. Excuse me, Jess. He used to be a rodeo rider. Now you're in harness racing.
Yeah, when I was younger, I did a little riding. Yep.
Bulls or horses?
It was bulls. Yeah.
Bulls. Now, Jess, how did you get hooked up with Cam McCown?
I was actually set up on a blind date with my friend I grew up with at the Upper Sandusky Fairgrounds. Liz Lewis House was dating his cousin at the time, and she kind of hooked us up. And
of course, now you've had a harness racing background all your life, really.
Yes. Yep.
And did Cam immediately change to harness racing once he met you?
I think he had a little experience with it through some family, but yeah, once we kind of started dating, I think about a year into it, actually, he owned a horse with my mom, and kind of went from there.
Now, here's a married couple. They're at the barn all morning working, go home, you go to the racetrack at night. When you're sitting down and having dinner, is there any other subjects besides harness racing?
Our kids are growing up, they're in sports. Other than that, our families, that's pretty much it.
I can't, the women involved in harness racing, it's gotta be rough, especially when you have youngsters as well. And they have to kind of set your agenda. You can't shuffle them off any.
Right, absolutely. It's tough. They're getting older, it's a little easier, but I also grew up kind of the same way, so I kind of understand, but you also have to make sacrifices, and thankfully we live right here with our families. our friends, families, we have a lot of help, and we're very lucky.
You youngsters like harness racing?
Oh yeah, our boy Chase, he's all about it. You'll see him running around in actually his grandma's colors with the helmet and the whip, and
How old's he?
he'll be 8 next month.
He'll be jogging horses for long.
He's about there. He's
jogged
trained.
and trained.
He's
Yeah.
trained with Dad a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's probably going to be in harness racing as well.
He might. I'm not
Well,
sure.
He,
I hope.
He might be an announcer.
He does do that.
He loves to announce.
Have him see me. I've worked with a lot of youngsters, and if they get started, but you know, Tyler Smith, he was going to be an announcer at first, and then he met John Campbell, and he said, "The heck with the announcing, I'm going to be a driver." How many horses you guys got, Cam?
We got about 26.
26.
We got 17 in this barn, and we got another barn that has 8 in it. That's about 26, isn't it?
25,
25,
26.
26.
And just the 4 2-year-olds. Is this your first venture, so to speak, with 2-year-olds? Have you had them in the past, or what?
We've had them in the past.
Just 1 or 2,
One
mainly.
or 2. We've had some pretty lucky, you know, we've gotten lucky with people, you know, helping us out, like the Wingfield brothers. They bought us our first couple years of yearlings.
Are the ones you got this year homebreds, or did you go to the sales and pick them up?
The one I bought from the sale this year, that's the trotting colt. I think we gave like 25 for him. And there's other two are homebreds, and the other one a guy bought off the internet from Midland Acres. It was like a scratch and dent sale that Midland Acres had.
Are you confident, or do you feel good about buying them off the internet?
It just depends on who you buy them off of. I mean, it's hard to buy them straight off the internet.
Yeah. Now, did you break the 2-year-olds yourself?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Do you like breaking them, or?
When you have help,
Yeah.
you know, if you don't have much help, it's kind of a pain in the butt. But when you have people to help you, it's not bad.
How much you been with your 2-year-olds now?
My trotting colt, I trained him in 20. The other ones, I've been around 25 with them.
And of course, it makes it a long day when you have to race at Miami Valley, Scioto, or Hollywood, Dayton.
Dayton and Miami Valley, it does make it a long day, but I can't wait till Scioto because it's just right down the road.
You're right there. Jess, do you go to the races at night as well, or do you stay at home with the kids?
A couple times a week, just depends. I try not to send my people too many nights in a row, so we'll switch off. But I'm there probably 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah. The business of harness racing anymore is getting tougher and tougher. You've got a number of employees that work for you and stuff. Is it hard to find good help?
I think about everyone else is about the same boat. It is hard. It's just hard to get to sell people a job like this where it's technically 7 days a week. The hours vary. Some days you work 4 or 5 hours. Some days you're here quite a bit and then go race at night. It's hard to sell, but yeah, I think we do good with the people that we have. They're great. They show up every day. Just getting people here to start with is half the struggle.
You want those ones that will show up every day.
Exactly, right.
When you train your 2-year-olds, Cam, you usually train them with one of the others, or how do you handle that?
Well, we kind of, since we only have 4, we kind of have a horse that, he's kind of our, like,
We call him our babysitter.
our babysitter, pretty much. He trains,
Yeah.
you know, he cuts all the miles for him, and he's a racehorse. You know, he's just a cheap claimer, but now sometimes I do, you know, train, like the first trip I'll go just to babies and go out there and put them on the front to have the experience of going on the front.
Now, I noticed Brian Brown today was going double headers with a lot of horses. Have you got to that stage yet?
Well, I go 2 trips.
trips.
Double headers. I do double headers with my older 3-year-olds, but 2-year-olds I don't know. I only got 4. So
Have you had any problems with those 2-year-olds this year?
I had one over there. I was kind of late because the winter this year is terrible. The track wasn't very good up here. I mean, it was cold, wet. The surface just wasn't very good. So I left. I usually get them gelded, but I left them studs. They was doing everything right on the track. Everything's good. So I went ahead and left them stud. I did have that little colt over there. Had his testicles was turned around backwards, and it was making him pace a little funny behind. But I got them removed, and he's a lot better now.
Well, we're going to make our way into the barn now and take a look at the 4 Ohio-bred 2-year-olds in the McCown stable after this message.
Racing is back at El Dorado Scioto Downs. Catch the excitement all summer long. Live racing every Tuesday through Saturday nights. First race post time is 5:45. Mark your calendar to see the future stars with a $150,000 Next Generation July 6th. Thrilling harness racing at El Dorado Scioto Downs. One track, 90 racing days, 100% action. Horse players can earn points with the new Caesars Reward Program. El Dorado Scioto Downs. Racing returns May 9th.
This is the colt Good Envy by What the Hill out of Barn Diva.
This colt, since day one, he's just been very professional. Never gave us any trouble. Stays right trotting. Just goes about his job, likes it. He's owned by a handful of people. Daryl Vigna, Mike Vigna, we've had horses with here from Michigan. They're great guys. There's also a couple other guys here in Ohio, just own small percentages. A couple are smaller guys that also just got started here in the business with us.
Equipment, does he wear everything, or is he pretty clean?
Right now we're at just the trotting boots, shin boots for right now, and I think he just started with the head pull. Pretty simply rigged, blind bridle, ear hood.
How's he been?
Great. Like I said, just does everything right. Has gone right to it. He actually gate schooled a couple weeks ago and went right to the gate, and he's just done everything right so far.
In the barn, is she easy to take care of, or does she get a little fidgety?
He's pretty good. He can be a little ornery, just kind of a little boy things, but other than that, no, he's great to be around.
Yeah. He is the colt, but actually he's not being too bad of colt.
No, he's pretty quiet. We've left him a stud here this long, just kind of feel like if we don't need to, just leave him alone, and so far he behaves well.
That's been an answer by a few trainers. Some trainers, they want them all to be geldings. They don't want to mess with it, but I've talked to one trainer. He likes to keep him a stud as long as he can.
I think it helps, maybe not also, but just muscling out, make them grow up a little bit. Just the hormones, I think, help make them kind of get a little sturdier, a little stronger.
This is Good Envy by What the Hill. This is a gelding Seek and Destroy by Western Terror out of Tiger's Fancy.
We actually got this guy a little later in the spring. Jeff Arvin owns him. He was with Rob Zink for a little bit. They got him gelded, and then they sent him to us. He was at a farm track, so here at the Fairgrounds, he kind of had a little transition period. We had a little trouble getting him to the track some days. We had to lead him there for a while. Didn't want to turn, just kind of getting used to things, but ever since then he's been going right along, training. He's settled down and he's going along nice.
Now, somebody told me this morning that you don't take him to the track the main way, that you go a different way. Is that to keep him away from other horses going to the track, or too much traffic?
A lot of the times we're lucky enough we have a back track here. We'll jog, I think most of them actually back there. Just to kind of keep him calm, keep him relaxed. For him, it took us a while. The backtrack is actually the first place we were able to get him to go on his own. So just kind of getting them used to new things. We don't take them out the same way every single time, just so they get used to different.
Do you ever jog them yourself?
I do, but talking about the help earlier, it's been a little struggle with help. It's a little easier to find riders than it is grooms. So
now, do you take them all to the back track? I know they're totally different when they're on the back track compared to the main track here at Delaware. Do you try to take them all back there every once in a while?
About 75% of them, I would say, go back there. Some of them are just okay either way. They'll go out front. Out front is obviously a little wider, a little easier to get around.
I guess the idea is that they're more relaxed back
Correct.
there.
Right. Yep.
This is Seek and Destroy by Western Terror. This is the gelding Here's Why We Drink by Well Said out of Fiery Buckeye.
This guy's a little behind. We started out really good with him, pacing right along. He got a little off behind. Found out he had OCDs and a hock and a hind ankle, I believe. So we got those removed. He just now started back jogging this week, so he's still a couple weeks back from training. David Smith of Bucyrus owns this guy. He named him, bred him, so.
He hasn't drove you and Cam to drink though, has he?
Not yet. There for a minute we were a little worried, but no, like I said, he was doing great before that, and hopefully we got that fixed.
Is he doing, now that you brought him back and going with him, is he doing what you want him to do?
Yes, yeah, he's just jogging a few miles right now. Like I said, he just started back this week, but yeah, going right along, nice and calm, going about his business.
Will he catch up with the others, or
I think so. We're still feel like it's kind of early. You know, we're not so far along that I don't think it'll. He stayed right along with him before he stopped. So.
If you qualify him like the others do, it'd be in June, and a lot of territory to cover before we get to June.
Yeah. You know, I don't think he'll be ready quite to qualify in June. You know, we don't want to rush. Obviously, we spent all this time taking those trips out. Just want to be careful with him. So, he'll probably be a little later than the rest of them, but. You know, money's at the end of the year.
This is the gelding Here's Why We Drink by Well Said. This is the gelding Keen and Beach Fire by Bring On the Beach out of Keene, Santana.
This guy is owned by David Smith and Josh Teets of Bucyrus. He was training good. He's kind of a smaller guy. I think we measured his hobble. It's only like 51. Pretty small. He is blind in this one eye, so right off the bat he kind of is behind the 8 ball. But we were training down, and his gait kind of got off a little bit. Found out that he was a ridgeling, and eventually both of his testicles dropped. We were able to get him gelded, and they were twisted. So got that taken care of. He just started back this week too, and so far so good. It seems to have helped, so hopefully he'll keep going right along.
Now I gotta ask, and it has nothing to do, well, maybe it does have something to do with the horse. I see most of the horses are on sawdust, but you got him on straw.
Because of just gelding, like I said, it's been 2 days since he got gelded, I think. You know, you don't want sawdust to get up in that and get that infected. So straw kind of prevents that from happening. So that's why he's on straw.
Yeah. How is he out on the racetrack?
He's pretty good. Goes right along, wants to do it, tries. He just had some physical problems that we had to take care of, but good attitude. Like I said, wants to do it. So.
Has he been around 20?
25, I believe. Pretty close.
Will you reach a point where you'll kind of back off with him, or stay at the same speed for a while?
I think we'll get down to about 15 and kind of back up a little bit, just depending what the date is when we get there, how close we feel like we are qualifying. You know, you don't want to go too fast too soon.
I notice most of your horses seem kind of calm and cool and collected.
They're buffaloing you guys in here right now. They're all pretty decent. But 2-year-olds, you know, it's hard to tell. They all have their moments, but for the most part, they're all right.
I was setting it up for takes a woman's touch. Well, Jess, thank you ever so much. This is the gelding Keen and Beach Fire by Bring On the Beach. Well, that wraps up this edition of Freshman Focus. We'd like to thank Cam McCown and his wife Jessica for giving us some time today and jogging our horses for us. And I'll tell you, they are well-mannered, and I still say it's a woman's touch. Wait a minute, I'm touching him. Well, see you next week.
This has been Freshman Focus, a look at 2-year-olds in training across the Buckeye State. Freshman Focus is presented by Eldorado Scioto Downs, now racing Tuesday through Saturday, post time at 5:45. By Sugar Valley Farm. Looking for your next quality standardbred racehorse? Look no further than Sugar Valley Farm in Delaware, Ohio. And by the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center, caring down to a science. Freshman Focus is a presentation of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association.